I want to tell you about the worst 10 seconds of my professional life.
Oh, I know this one.
You don't know this one, actually. I've never told you this one.
Then go ahead. I'm sitting down.
So a few years ago, before any of this, I was in a work meeting, on video, 12 people watching, and my manager asked me a simple question.
How simple.
What do you think we should do next quarter? That's it.
That's genuinely nothing.
I know that now. In the moment, my brain just left the building.
Left the building.
Completely. I opened my mouth and out came, so I think, basically what
John,
I said, 4 times before a real word showed up.
4 ums and no plan.
And the worst part? I actually had a good answer in my head. I knew what I wanted to say. My mouth just refused to cooperate.
That's not a language problem, that's a nervous system problem.
Exactly, and that's the thing nobody tells you. I speak English fine. I wasn't confused about grammar. I froze because I was scared of the silence.
The silence before you speak.
Yes, that tiny gap felt like the whole room was staring, waiting, judging.
So, what did you do?
After that meeting, embarrassed and a little annoyed at myself, I started building what I now call the bridge word method.
Tell them what that is.
Instead of freezing in silence, you keep a small set of natural bridge phrases ready. Things like, "That's a good question," or "Let me think about that for a second." And you say those out loud while your brain catches up.
So the silence gets filled with something human instead of panic.
Right. The bridge holds you up while the real sentence arrives behind it.
And it actually works?
It changed everything for me. Honestly, not just in English, in my native language too.
Which tells you it was never really about vocabulary.
No. It was about what to do with the gap.
And that's exactly what today's episode is about. The gap, not the vocabulary.
Let's get into it. Hey there, welcome back to Speak Unstoppable, where English gets a little easier every time you show up.
I'm Maria.
And I'm John, still recovering emotionally from that story.
You'll live.
Barely.
Okay, so today we're talking about something almost every learner writes to us about. How to speak fluent English without that awful hesitation, that freeze, that gap where your brain goes quiet and your mouth goes quiet with it.
And John just gave us a perfect real example of exactly that.
Unfortunately, yes.
We're going to break the biggest myth about fluency. Talk about what's actually happening in your brain during that freeze and give you a real, usable way to handle it.
Later, we've got our word tour. 6 words about speaking, thinking, and staying calm under pressure. Words you can actually use this week.
And in Rewrite It, we'll turn some painfully nervous learner sentences into calm, confident ones. The kind you'll actually want to say out loud.
So, John, be honest. In that meeting, did you actually forget the English words?
No. That's what took me so long to admit.
Say more.
I think most learners believe fluent means the words arrive instantly. No pause, no thinking. Just smooth talking like a movie character.
A very unrealistic movie character.
Right, because that's not even how native speakers talk.
It really isn't.
Watch any interview, any unscripted conversation, people pause constantly. They say, well, so, they restart sentences, they trail off mid-thought and pick it back up.
Nobody talks in perfect finished paragraphs.
Nobody, not even professional speakers whose entire job is talking. Real speech is messy, it has gaps, it circles back on itself, and somehow we barely notice it in others.
But we notice it painfully in ourselves.
So if hesitation is normal for native speakers too,
Then hesitation was never the actual enemy.
then what is?
Fear of the hesitation. The belief that a pause means failure, that a gap in speech proves something is wrong with you.
That's a big difference.
Huge. A native speaker pauses and thinks nothing of it. Doesn't even register it as a pause, really. A learner pauses and thinks, I'm not fluent. I'm bad at this. Everyone can tell.
The pause is the same. The story about the pause is different.
Exactly. And that story is what makes you freeze harder next time. Because now you're not just pausing, you're bracing for judgment.
So fluency was never about eliminating the gap.
It's about what you do inside the gap.
That single shift changes the whole way you experience speaking. Can I tell one too?
Please.
Job interview. Years ago, English round. Interviewer asks, tell me about a challenge you overcame.
Classic question.
Painfully classic, and I still froze, even though I'd basically expected some version of it.
Even knowing it was probably coming?
Even then, I had a story ready in my head, rehearsed even, but the second she looked at me and waited, my mind just went blank white, like a wall with nothing on it.
What did you do?
I did the worst possible thing. I apologized.
Oh, no.
Sorry, give me a second, sorry, my English isn't good. 3 sorries in one breath.
You apologized for existing, basically.
Basically. And the interview never recovered its energy after that. The whole tone shifted.
Because you told her, and yourself, that something was wrong before you'd even said anything wrong.
Right. I turned a normal pause into a whole confession, handed her a reason to doubt me that she didn't even have yet.
That's such a common trap.
It really is. A 3-second silence became evidence in my own head, evidence I built entirely myself.
Evidence of what?
That I didn't belong in that room, that I was somehow fooling everyone up until that exact second.
But you did belong there.
I know that now.
What would you do differently today?
Stay quiet for a second, breathe, maybe say that's a great question, let me think, and just let my brain catch up without narrating my own panic out loud for the interviewer to hear.
No apology required.
None. The silence was never the problem. My reaction to the silence was.
Did you get the job, by the way?
I did actually, despite the sorries.
So the panic wasn't even necessary in the end.
It never is. That's the part that's hard to believe in the moment. Let's get a little technical for a second. In plain language, no textbook talk.
Please. Plain language only. I mean it.
When you speak a second language under pressure, your brain is doing several jobs at once. Finding words, checking grammar, managing pronunciation, watching the other person's face for reactions.
That's a lot of jobs for one brain to juggle at the same time.
It really is, and most of it is happening completely automatically, without you even choosing it. And when stress shows up, your brain treats the situation like a small threat.
Like danger.
Exactly like danger, even though nobody's actually in danger, it's just a meeting or a conversation with a friend.
But the body doesn't know that. It can't tell the difference.
No, so it pulls resources towards survival mode and away from calm, complex thinking, which is exactly the kind of thinking you need to form a sentence in a second language.
So the more nervous you get about hesitating,
The harder it becomes to speak smoothly. which makes you more nervous, which makes it worse again. Round and round.
A loop.
A very unfair loop, and one that has nothing to do with how much English you actually know.
So this isn't really a vocabulary problem at all.
Almost never. Most learners freezing in conversation already know the words they need, sitting right there in their memory.
Then it's a calming problem.
It's a calming problem wearing a language costume, dressed up to look like something it isn't. So let's go back to your bridge word method, since you mentioned it earlier.
Right. This is the practical part everyone actually wants.
Walk us through it properly this time, no ums required.
The idea is simple. Before your brain finds the full sentence, your mouth says a short, natural bridge phrase first, buying you a second or two.
Give examples.
That's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. Actually, here's what I mean. Give me a moment to explain this properly.
Those all sound completely normal. Not nervous at all. Honestly, kind of confident.
That's the whole point. Native speakers use these constantly, so nobody notices them as hesitation. They just blend into the conversation.
They just sound thoughtful.
Exactly. Thoughtful. Not lost. Not panicking.
And while you're saying the bridge phrase,
Your brain quietly finishes building the real sentence behind it, working in the background.
so the silence gets replaced by a small, calm sentence instead of panic.
Right. And panic is what breaks fluency, not silence itself. Never the silence.
How do people actually practice this at home?
Pick 3 or 4 bridge phrases you genuinely like. Practice saying them out loud until they feel automatic, so in the real moment, your mouth reaches for them without thinking.
Like a landing pad while your thoughts arrive safely.
I love that. Yes, a landing pad, not a moment of shame. Okay, pushback time. I've got a real concern here.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Isn't there a risk that if you use these bridge phrases constantly, you just sound like you're stalling over and over in every single answer?
Fair concern. And yes, if you use 10 of them stacked in one sentence, that's genuinely a problem.
Give me the healthy version then.
Use one bridge phrase, briefly, then move confidently into your real answer. It's a launch pad, not a hiding place to camp out in.
So it's temporary by design.
Very temporary. 2 or 3 seconds, not a whole speech built entirely out of stalling phrases.
And the goal isn't to avoid pausing forever. That was never realistic anyway.
No. The goal is to remove the fear around the pause, so the pause stays short and calm instead of long and panicked and spiraling.
Because a calm 3-second pause reads as thoughtful to the listener.
And a panicked 10-second silence reads as lost. Reads as something being wrong.
Same silence, technically, just different energy underneath it.
Exactly. And that energy is something you can actually train with practice.
So it's not about talking less carefully. It's about worrying less while you talk.
That's a much better way to put it than I just did. So let's redefine this properly, once and for all.
Please, I need a better definition than the one I had for years.
Fluency isn't zero hesitation. It's recovering from hesitation smoothly. Again and again.
Say that again. That's the line right there.
Fluency is recovering from hesitation smoothly, not avoiding it completely, because avoiding it completely was never actually possible.
That takes so much pressure off just hearing it.
It should, because chasing zero hesitation is chasing something even native speakers don't have, never had, never will.
So, what are we actually chasing instead?
Comfort inside the gap. A pause that doesn't spiral into panic every time it shows up.
A pause that feels like thinking, not failing at something.
Exactly that. Precisely that.
I like that so much better than my old goal, honestly.
What was your old goal? Remind me.
Never pause. Ever. Sound like a robot, reading a script perfectly. No mistakes allowed.
Nobody actually wants robot English when you say it out loud like that.
Nobody. We want real, human, slightly imperfect, genuinely confident English instead.
That's genuinely more achievable for real people with real lives.
And honestly, more likable too, if we're being completely truthful about it.
Nobody connects with a robot. People connect with someone who's actually trying, pauses and all.
That's the version of fluent I actually want now.
Same here, honestly. And I think most learners would say the same if they heard it put that way. Actually, let's bring this back to your meeting story from the very start, John.
Please, bring it back. I need the redemption arc.
If that exact same question happened to you today, what would you actually do differently?
Honestly, I'd let myself pause. I wouldn't fill it with 4 ums and panic.
Walk us through it.
She asks what I think we should do next quarter, and instead of scrambling, I'd say, "That's a good question. Let me think for a second." Out loud, calmly.
And then?
Then I'd actually use that second, properly, instead of spending it being terrified.
No apology, no 4 ums.
None. Just a real pause, followed by a real answer, delivered like a person who's allowed to think before speaking.
That's such a different ending to the same exact story.
It really is. And nothing about my English knowledge changed between then and now.
Just your relationship with the silence changed.
Exactly that. Just the silence.
And that's really the whole shift we're talking about today, in one small story.
Not a bigger vocabulary, not a magic fix, just a different relationship with the gap between thinking and speaking.
A gap that used to feel like danger, and now just feels like a normal part of talking. Now let's slow down for a moment and learn today's words, all about speaking calmly under pressure, thinking clearly, and staying steady even when your brain wants to panic. Our first word is hesitate.
Hesitate, that's the verb, and it means to pause briefly because you're unsure or a little nervous.
Maybe you're mid-sentence in English and your brain suddenly goes quiet for a second.
You could say, "I hesitated before answering, but then the words came back to me."
Or in writing, you might say, new speakers often hesitate at first, and that's completely normal, even expected.
It's not a failure, it's just a pause with a reason behind it.
I like that framing a lot better than the one I used to have in my head. Our next word is fluency.
Fluency, the noun form, means speaking smoothly and naturally, not perfectly, and definitely not without pauses.
Maybe someone tells you your fluency has improved, even though you still stop sometimes to think.
You could say, "My fluency improves every single time I speak without panicking about the silence."
Or, in writing, true fluency includes natural pauses, small mistakes, and moments of thinking out loud.
That definition alone would have saved me years of unnecessary stress. Our next word is filler.
Filler. A small word or short phrase used to hold your place in a sentence while your brain catches up, like well or actually, or you know.
Maybe you notice yourself saying a lot, and you want a better option.
You could say, I use fillers like, let me think for a second instead of just freezing completely.
Or in writing, fillers make speech sound natural and human, not weak or unprepared.
Which is honestly the opposite of what most learners assume about them. Our next word is articulate.
Articulate, this one's an adjective here, and it means expressing your thoughts clearly, especially out loud in speech.
Maybe you finally got through a whole explanation without losing your train of thought.
You could say, I felt genuinely articulate today, even with a few small pauses along the way.
Or in writing, she became far more articulate once she stopped fearing every silence in a conversation.
And notice, being articulate never meant being fast. It just meant being clear. Our next word is spontaneous.
Spontaneous means happening naturally, in the moment, without a script or heavy advance planning.
Maybe a conversation just flowed, and you weren't rehearsing every sentence in your head first.
You could say, that conversation felt completely spontaneous, and honestly, I actually enjoyed every minute of it.
Or in writing, fluent speech often feels spontaneous rather than memorized word for word in advance.
And spontaneous conversations are usually the ones people actually remember afterward. Our final word for today is composure.
Composure means staying calm and steady, especially when you're under pressure or being watched.
Maybe everyone's looking at you, waiting for an answer, and you manage to stay grounded anyway.
You could say, I kept my composure even when I paused to think through the question properly.
Or, in writing, composure matters far more than speed when you're speaking a second language in public.
Composure isn't about hiding nerves completely, it's about not letting them run the whole show.
That one might be my favorite of the 6, honestly.
Mine too, if I'm being fully truthful. Those were today's 6 words: hesitate, fluency, filler, articulate, spontaneous, and composure. Try picking just one and using it in a real sentence sometime this week, out loud if you can. So later, when you have a quiet moment, let's take some nervous learner sentences, the kind we all say to ourselves without thinking twice, and rewrite them into something calmer and stronger.
I actually recognize a few of these from my own head.
Same here, more than I'd like to admit.
First one. I always freeze, I can never speak fluently.
That sentence turns one bad moment into a permanent identity, which isn't fair to you.
Rewrite, I sometimes hesitate, but my fluency keeps improving every time I practice.
Better already. Because it's actually true, and it's kinder.
Next. My English is too slow, people get bored waiting for me.
This one assumes the worst about everyone listening to you, which usually isn't accurate.
Rewrite, I take a moment to stay articulate instead of rushing and making careless mistakes.
That reframes slowness as a choice, not a weakness.
And a choice feels completely different from a flaw.
It really does.
Next. I panic every time there's silence in a conversation.
Panic is a strong word, and it teaches your brain that silence equals danger.
Rewrite, I'm learning to stay calm and keep my composure during a short pause.
Calmer language, calmer nervous system, they really do go together.
Small wording changes, but the effect on your body is real.
Next. I sound stupid when I say or well.
But we already proved fillers aren't a weakness. They're a normal part of real speech.
Rewrite, I use natural fillers. just like everyone else does when they're thinking something through.
Exactly, and nobody's judging you for it the way you imagine.
Most people aren't even noticing. They're too busy thinking about their own next sentence.
Next. I can only speak well if I plan every sentence first.
That belief keeps you trapped because real conversations are never fully plannable.
Rewrite. I'm working on sounding more spontaneous, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first.
Discomfort now, freedom later. That trade is usually worth it.
I'd take that trade every time, honestly.
Last one, and this is the big one. I'll never be fluent because I always hesitate.
That sentence carries so much weight, and honestly, it's simply not true anymore.
Rewrite, fluency was never about never hesitating. It's about recovering smoothly when I do.
Say that one to yourself as many times as you need to.
Maybe even write it somewhere you'll actually see it again.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Notice how none of these rewrites promise perfect English overnight.
No, they just ask for a little more honesty and a lot less self-punishment.
Which is really all any of us actually need to hear sometimes.
Pick whichever one hit closest to home for you.
And maybe say the rewritten version out loud, not just in your head. So here's today's lesson in 3 simple lines, worth remembering long after this video ends. Hesitation is normal, even for native speakers who've spoken the language their whole lives. Fluency means recovering calmly, not staying silent forever out of fear. And a small bridge phrase can carry you through the gap while your brain catches up.
Your challenge this week. Next time you pause in English, don't apologize. Just say one bridge phrase, let me think about that, and keep going.
Try it in a real conversation. Then come tell us how it felt in the comments below.
We'd genuinely love to read them.
And if this episode helped even a little, hit subscribe and check out our next video for more practice like this. We've got plenty more coming.
Keep practicing. Keep pausing without panic.
And keep building your confidence. One honest sentence at a time.
Bye for now.